Hello everyone, so this is today's newspaper analysis. Indian Express 30 of April 2026. आज का हेडलाइन है द वोट्स आर इन वेस्ट बंगाल ओवरऑल टर्न आउट और रिकॉर्ड 92.5%। तो जहाँ जहाँ चुनाव हुआ है यहाँ पे CEC सरदर चुनाव का पर्व पश्चिम बंगाल का गर्व, हाईएस्ट पोलिंग इन बोथ फेजेस सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस। ओके, सो इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद सबसे हाईएस्ट पोलिंग हुआ है यहाँ पे। ठीक है, और भी जगह जगह हुआ था वोट, जैसे कि तमिलनाडु, असम, केरला, पुडुचेरी, ये सब में भी हुआ है। ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं। वी आर ओनली लुकिंग फॉर दोज न्यूज़ विच आर इम्पोर्टेंट। अच्छा, ये कुछ है दिल्ली का मैजेंटा लाइन के बारे में। ये कहीं आग लग गया था गाजियाबाद में, उसके बारे में है। PM opens Ganga Expressway, calls it a वरदान। सो 594 किलोमीटर का गंगा एक्सप्रेस वे कनेक्टिंग 12 डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफ यूपी, जिसको वरदान बोल रहे हैं। ओके, सो हम लोगों को पता है कि UAE एग्ज़िट हो गया OPE से। ये हम लोगों ने कल के न्यूज़ में देखा था, तो हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि इसका एडिटोरियल आया, तो देखते हैं। On Tuesday, UAE announced that it was leaving OPEC after almost 60 years of membership. Its exit is significant because this comes on the back of escalating disagreements with Saudi Arabia on regional conflict in the last few years, most notably in Sudan and Yemen. Immediately, this move will likely have little impact on oil market given the ongoing blockade of Strait of Hormuz. However, in the medium of long run, it could be significant. The differing economies and oil production philosophies of Saudi Arabia and UAE have now been laid bare, at least historically. Saudi Arabia has generally supported constraining the supply and maintaining a high global prices. This was not only an economic move but the political move in response to the domination of Western oil majors and military conflict in Gulf state in 1970s. By enforcing the OPEC quota system, these member states would be held to production targets. OPEC used its spare capacity as a tool of strongly guide global oil prices before the UAE exit and Iran war. OPEC. Clearly, UAE is interested in expanding its production well beyond the OPEC quota system allows. All while producing countries have the same quandary right now. It is better to hold back and produce for longer, or it is better to produce quickly and lowering the price environment and make money in the short run. The UAE is generally understood to have some of the lowest per barrel oil production cost in the region, so lower prices have less of impact on its profit margin. Frustrated with the quotas and clearly wanting to pursue more production, its exit is not completely unexpected. There are there were rumblings of similar moves in 2020, although nothing came of it. The decision does raise question about whether this withdrawal is limited to oil market alone or OPEC withdrawal is a precursor to the broader Emirati realignment. The element of cooperation among Gulf states post World War II had included common interest around nationalized development of oil and gas resources. This decision does raise questions about whether this withdrawal is limited to oil market alone or precursor of Emirati realignment. For India, this has a few implications. First, any rising instability amongst the Gulf states will have impact on the 9 million Indian migrants in the region, most of them low wage worker. तो गल्फ रीजन में 9 मिलियन इंडियन माइग्रेंट्स रहते हैं. Their safety, their working condition, their well-being will be rising concern for the two of the largest recipient of Indian migrants, that is UAE and Saudi Arabia. Remittance inflow कम stable हो जाएगा. Secondly, in the wake of Iran war and these development, India may not be able to rely on the investment from the Gulf state at the scale it has in the last decade. Many regions, the sovereign wealth fund have suspended deals due to the ongoing conflict, and it is not hard to imagine that many of these funds will have to commit resources to domestic investment and redevelopment after the Strait of Hormuz opens up. Finally, one of the UAE's largest oil customer, there may be a silver lining in the UAE's increased production does manage to drive down oil prices later this year between LPG shortages and impeding price increases of all the crude oil driven products and the conflict premiums. The economic effect of the conflict are already being felt strongly in India. Countries have left OPEC before. Indonesia suspended its membership in 2009 and rejoined, and then again left in 2020. Qatar left OPEC in 2019 to focus on gas production. OPEC plus countries have not always followed the quotas as closely either. The International Energy Agency was created in 1970s as an anti-OPEC for largely Western member countries to coordinate with the release of their strategic petroleum reserve during the such crisis to control the global prices. India's associate membership in IEA does not give a seat in the table with such a decisions are made. It is beneficiary of the SPI release of IEA member states through lower global oil prices. On the other hand, its long diplomatic and commercial connection with Gulf states have been the foundation of decade of expansion of oil and gas consumption. India OPEC dialogues have also been happening more frequently, and it is projected that one of the biggest importers of oil globally in the next few decades. So while the UAE's withdrawal from the OPEC does not trigger any knee-jerk policy reaction, it should provoke India to think more deeply about which club it wants to be a part of and where it should use its diplomatic and commercial capital to enhance its energy security. The UAE seems to have made its choice, but so far India seems to be sitting on the fence. So this was, I think, ये बहुत अच्छा आर्टिकल था. आप एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट समझ सकते हैं इससे, जो भी बेस है गल्फ नेशंस का उसके बारे में. और बंगाल का तो वही ठीक है, देखते हैं, रिजल्ट आएगा तो देखा जाएगा. और तो उतना कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. ओके, यहाँ पे विक्रम VT कैन इट रिप्लेस ऑन एजिंग कॉम्बैट व्हीकल फ्लीट. Last week, DRDO launched an infantry combat vehicle called Vikram VT-21. DRDO is pitching its potential solution for the Indian Army requirement for the futuristic combat vehicle F-1CV to replace aging Soviet-era VC fleet. Trump urges Iran to sign the first deal fast. Okay, so Donald Trump discussed to mitigate the impact of possible long term, जो भी है हो नहीं रहा है. Okay, so this was all for today's newspaper. Thank you.